Welcome back to the Coffee Chaos Confidence Podcast with me, Coach Casey. Look, I've got something I've been harping on about for the last 24, 25 episodes. I'm even starting to lose track of what episode we're on now. I am absolutely loving these episodes, and there's many more to come. But there's something that has gone over in every single episode, and that is the ripple effect. And I've teased you guys a little bit with this episode for a little while, and I just thought, you know what? We've got to talk about it. Let's just say, we're going to call this lady Jane. Jane wants to open a coffee shop because Jane loves coffee. I mean, Jane just doesn't like the ones in the capsules that you can do or the plunger. Jane is passionate about creating coffee, the flavor notes, the latte art, you name it. Jane loves it. And Jane wants to now share this and her wealth of knowledge of coffee and flavors with the world. So Jane creates a coffee shop. Cool. Now, on birthdays and special occasions, in Jane's coffee shop, we're going to call it Jane's Coffee Shop. Jane does like latte art. It's like happy birthday. On Valentine's Day, she puts a heart. They do that fancy swan thing, which I can never quite do. And they even do the little leaf that they do in the Guinness on St. Patrick's Day. I can't think what that's called. We'll probably remember that later. So Jane has this pipe dream and she creates this coffee shop. Now, when it comes to the ripple effect, Jane's now feeling very fulfilled that she's got this successful coffee shop, and now the ripple effect already is she's making other people feel great with her coffee. Brilliant. But Jane just doesn't sell coffee, but Jane can't make other stuff because Jane's passion is coffee. So Jane speaks to the local artisan bakery and they create these amazing, I shouldn't say this because I really fancy, there's a coffee shop near me that does these things called Ramble Jacks, and it's basically, it looks like they've swept it up with a dustpan and brush and they've just put it in with like loads of honey and stuff, and it dates and it's sticky and it's amazing. So she gets this artisan bakery to come and do these cakes, these brownies, these Ramble Jacks, or whatever you call them. And now the knock-on effect of what Jane is doing with Jane's coffee shop is her customers can now buy a tasty treat, which means that these people that run the artisan bakery are now benefiting from being able to employ people because they use Jane. Jane uses them every day. Jane's helping the customers fill themselves up because obviously it's always good to have a tasty treat. But then people then come to the bakery because they've heard about the bakery from Jane's coffee shop. So now they visit the bakery. It's epic. But then it doesn't stop there when it comes to the ripple effect of Jane's pipe dream of this cafe. Jane has this vision of like having a workspace. So she has like an area that's just for people to work from. So now people are now coming in, having a coffee, having a cake, and now they can work from home. Careful, Elon Musk, you might lose your shit on this one. So people can now work from the coffee shop, buy the cake, and have these amazing areas to work, which is away from home, and they can still get their work done. Cool. Another ripple effect. First dates. Let's meet in Jane's Cafe. Do you remember when we first met? Yeah, we met in Jane's Cafe. There'll be like these moments where I've always looked forward to these moments in my life when I get to this moment of retirement and you're like, you just go and have a coffee and then, you know, have a little potter around the shops. That is something that is also now going to be great because these old friends are going to meet up in Jane's Cafe. Now, I feel like you're getting to know what I'm talking about when I talk about the ripple effect, because Jane's idea was really small, but the people that Jane is going to affect and the people that Jane is going to inspire and the ripple effect of the good coffee, the meetups, the people that are not only, Jane's probably going to employ some people as well. So the ripple effect is not just this. Jane can now employ someone who can work at Jane's Cafe, who's now going to be able to put food on their table for their family and provide for their family because they work at Jane's Cafe. Oh my God, this is getting good. I'm liking this. I'm liking this. There are so many things that could happen in Jane's Cafe, not to mention the art on the wall, because Jane sells the art for the local artists. And all of these people that are affected by Jane's idea at the start are very much being, I love making coffee. When you've got an idea or a dream or something and you just think, look, I don't know whether this is a great idea. Don't just think about the idea, but think about the knock-on effect of your idea. Who else is it going to affect? Who else is going to benefit from this? Now, this comes back to when we just talked about the habits a couple of weeks ago. And this is, it's not just about what it does for you, but what it does for other people, how it affects other people, how other people can grow from this experience. I want to talk to you about an experience and a ripple effect that has probably been the biggest pivotal point of my life, probably part of my transformation as a business owner and as a coach, and part of the biggest pivotal point for me. Rolling back, this is the moment I'm about to tell you, and this is where my ripple effect starts. My wife used to absolutely love watching Leaning 15 with Joe Wicks on Instagram, YouTube. She bought all of his books. She's got the red one, the blue one, the green one, but I've never spent a penny with Joe Wicks. This is where the ripple effect for me is so important, because the ripple effect of my wife buying Joe Wicks's books and watching Joe Wicks online has taken a big leap for my future, for my wife's future, for my daughter's future, and basically a massive shift in how we are as a family. Now, we've always been really into fitness, and my wife had convinced me to, probably not convinced me, I probably did it voluntarily, but we started watching some of Joe Wicks's YouTube videos. And one day we were doing a workout and he brought a guest on there, a guy called Faisal Abdullah. And Faisal Abdul, Faisal, I'm so sorry, I can never say your bloody surname right. I'm really sorry. Perhaps you should come on the podcast, dude, and then you can teach me how to say your surname properly, and then that'd be great. He is just like a ball of energy. He's on Instagram, Monday Motivation. He does a post, and on the post he talks about turf games. And from turf games, I did their online program. I did their online competition. I worked with the guys at turf games, and I became a judge. From being a judge at turf games, I also met the guys from the Lean Machine. So you guys have obviously met John on the previous podcasts, and Leon, who was obviously his business partner as well. So I met those guys, got to work with those guys, and my knock-on effect, I've always stayed in touch with Faisal. I met Faisal at the turf games, and we even jumped on a live with him one day in the lockdown, which was just super cool. It was one of those moments where we put tap to join the live, and my wife and my daughter and I were doing the workout, and next thing you know, we're live with Faisal, which was really cool. So yeah, amazing, so amazing. The knock-on effect of that one video took me to this moment of like working with some incredible people, getting to turf games and meeting even more incredible people. The ripple effect for me, the connections and the friends I made just from going to turf games, and that was all from a post that Faisal had put that turf games were looking for volunteers, and that opened up some doorways. I got to go to the Arnold Fitness Games, where I got to judge the CrossFit competition on the comp floor there, which was amazing. I was also then invited to go to High Rocks. So I judged for High Rocks for about 18 months, 2 years, something like that, and was one of the head judges for the UK, which was really cool. And again, I got to then branch out and meet all these people. Now, we talked about this in the other episode with John, but the ripple effect for me as well was obviously I got to know the guys from the Lean Machines, and I bought Leon's book. And I was training with the Lean Machines at the time. I had my own studio where I was training. I had a gym in my studio. Was creating these like reels and doing all this fun stuff around my fitness because I loved it, and it was part of my passion, and it was also keeping me fit and healthy. And so I supported them when Leon brought out his book. In fact, I've got Leon's book up here somewhere. I'm going to say this, and I bet Leon's book's not in my bookshelf. It is. It's this one. It's this one. Here we go. Leon Bustin, become the coach, learn, build, grow. Now, there is a part in this book where I was reading it, and they were talking about, or Leon was talking about, being at an email marketing event. Now, I've done email marketing for years, but it got me quite interested because I was like, oh, cool. Who is this guy that they're talking about? And in the back, because all good books do this, there was a little quote about them being at this event with a guy called Paul Mort. Now, Paul seemed quite interesting. I thought I would check him out. So I went online, literally that same day. I opened Instagram. The only person that was live on my Instagram that day was Paul Mort. And I was like, this is weird. I found him, connected with him, joined his program, worked with Paul for 18 months. An absolutely amazing guy, and I'm hugely grateful for everything that I did with working with Paul. Again, that changed my email marketing, was one of the big things I changed with Paul, as well as a lot of other mindset stuff, which was really cool. But I got to meet a lot of other legends. Paul invited us to an event. We went to Expert Empires. Now, not my bag, not my normal sort of style of event. Felt a bit strange, but Paul said, I'm speaking at this event. If you come along, grab a ticket, I'll take you guys out for breakfast. So there was about 8 or 9 of us that went for breakfast with Paul in the morning. Paul did his keynote speech, which just, if you've never seen Paul speak, you should check him out because he's freaking awesome. And that for me was another one of those moments where another little ripple happened, because while I was at the event, I met lots of new people, connected with lots of people, but on the way home was that conversation with my wife where she said to me, you've got to be a coach. This is what you do. And I was looking to change. And at that point, I'd already had this pivotal metaphorical car crash where I'd sat there and thought, I can't do this anymore. I'm running my business. I'm neglecting my loved ones. I'm burning the candle at both ends, and everyone keeps talking about work-life balance, and it doesn't feel like there's any balance at all. And if you know me, you know very well that I believe now that balance is utter bullshit. That is a moment for me that on that moment home, on that journey home, that my wife said to me, you should be a coach. This is what you do. You help people, you work with people, you help them discover where they want to be and where they want to go and so forth. And I have to honestly say that for me, if you've got an idea or you do something or you're hesitant, you really, 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 really should go with your gut feeling. Because I went with my gut feeling when I worked with Paul. I went with my gut feeling when I worked with John and Leon. I went with my gut feeling when I signed up to work with Turf Games. It opened so many doors. I believed my gut when my wife said, let's watch this Joe Wicks video. And at the time I was thinking, it's a bit like Ed Sheeran. It's a bit annoying. But let's be honest, Ed Sheeran makes great songs and has done really quite well in the world. So what I want you to just think about when it comes to the ripple effect is, don't just think about what you're doing today. Think about the impact it's going to have. And as I wrap up this episode, I want you to just think about, when you're thinking about doing something, go with your gut feeling. What does your gut say about what you're doing? Because my gut feeling was actually a little bit hesitant on whether I want to watch the Joe Wicks video, but actually I watched the Joe Wicks video and it probably changed my life. And I never spent a penny with Joe Wicks. Sorry, Joe. That's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you like and subscribe. And I'll see you very soon.
And that wraps up today's episode of the Coffee, Chaos and Confidence podcast with me, Coach Casey. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, please make sure you like and subscribe. It helps other listeners find the show. Also, go and check out the show notes to learn more about my incredible guests. Until next time, make sure you chase your dreams without limitations.